On the first day of the new semester in 11th grade, a girl transferred into the class next door. Fair-skinned and drop-dead gorgeous, she instantly drew a flock of boys like moths to a flame, all tripping over themselves to get close. Yet one afternoon during break, she just strolls up to me and, in front of the whole class, slams her backpack onto my desk. With this pitiful, wrong tone, she says, "George, aren't you gonna explain about you licking my feet yesterday?" Amid the rising murmurs around us, I looked at her, let out a small smirk, pulled my phone from my bag and dialed a number. "Hello? Could you send someone over? Someone's publicly making defamatory and harassing statements about me." Chapter 1. Under everyone's gaze, Willow's face flushed red instantly. She clutched the hem of her skirt, stammering, "George, don't be like this. I was just joking with you." People around us joined in heckling. "Yeah, the goddess is just joking, why so serious?" I wish I could lick the goddess's feet. See? What's the point of being smart? He's just a nerd who can't even take a joke. Amid all the flattery and excuses offered on her behalf, Willow gradually calmed down. She reached out her hand again, wearing a smile. "Hello, George. I'm Willow, the new transfer student next door. I heard you're really smart, a genius. Can we get to know each other?" I ignored her hand, lowered my eyes, and continued my call. "Yes, City A number 3 high school. Alright, I'll wait here." Hanging up, I put my phone back in my bag and picked up my pen to continue the advanced calculus problem I hadn't finished. The classroom fell utterly silent. Willow lowered her hand, her face turning from red to pale inch by inch. "Was that really necessary?" she asked, her voice trembling. I didn't respond. 15 minutes later, the police arrived. Willow, the dumbfounded homeroom teacher, and I were all taken to the office. After hearing the whole story, the officers gave Willow a stern warning. "You don't even know George. Why would you say stuff like that in public? Young lady, how can you speak so recklessly? Verbal harassment counts as bullying too." Tears welled up in Willow's eyes. She sobbed uncontrollably. "I'm sorry, officer. I was wrong. I just heard George is introverted and doesn't like talking, so I learned something online to get him to speak. I didn't mean any harm. I just wanted to be friends with him." Seeing her sincerity, the officer sighed. "Stop learning random tricks online. If George truly had autism, what you did would have just made things worse. You young folks need to read more positive stuff and less shady tricks." Willow nodded through her tears. It wasn't a big deal anyway. After a brief mediation, the police left. The homeroom teacher scolded Willow a bit before letting us return to evening self-study. Willow left first. I followed but was stopped by the teacher. "George." The middle-aged man hesitated before speaking. "Next time something like this happens, tell the teacher first. Don't call the cops right away. It's too extreme, your classmates will think badly of you." I paused, then calmly asked, "Why would they think badly of me? Was any of this my fault?" The teacher was speechless. I let out a cold laugh and walked out, leaving his sigh behind me. Back in the classroom, my desk area was a mess, books scattered everywhere. On my desktop, someone had scrawled "Tattletale Freak" in crooked whiteboard marker strokes. I bent down, picked up my workbook, scanned the room and asked, "Who did this?" No one answered. I asked again, "Do I need to pull the surveillance footage?" Still nothing. I walked to the first row, first seat, and kicked the desk hard. The bang echoed through the classroom. "Was it you?" The owner shook his head fast. "And no, it wasn't me." I moved to the next desk. "Was it you?" No. Finally, a boy couldn't hold it anymore. He stood up in the corner, glaring at me with hatred. "I did it. What can you do to me? You're the one who bullied Willow." I tugged the corner of my lips, walked over, kicked his desk aside, grabbed him by the collar, and studied his face. "You transferred here from somewhere else, right?" I asked. "Take a guess. Why, out of the whole class, are you the only one who dared do this?" His face flushed red. Struggling, he shouted, "Because they're all cowards." "No," I said slowly, calm and deliberate. "Because they value their lives." Then I swung my fist at him. My punch skimmed past his temple, whistling through the air, and slammed into the wall with a heavy bang. I loosened my grip. The boy slumped down the wall, collapsing on the floor, staring at my hand with terror. His lips were pale, trembling uncontrollably. Blood dripped down in fall after fall. I licked my lips and gave a faint smile. Then, dipping my left hand into the blood running down my right, I wrote a large word on his desk: coward. Chapter 2. In school, students with excellent grades always got certain perks. At 5:30 p.m., I strapped on my backpack and walked out the school gate. Willow hurried after me. "George, you're not going to evening self-study?" She'd regained her energy, chirping like a sparrow. "Oh, I get it. You're so smart. Did the homeroom teacher give you special permission? Have you eaten? Where are you going? Why aren't you talking to me? Are you still mad at me?" I stopped at the bus stop. 30 seconds later, an old model bus rolled in. I took 2 yuan, bought a ticket, and got on. Willow bit her lip, glanced around, then scanned her fare on her phone and jumped on, sitting beside me. The bus rattled until we reached a stop near the night market. I got off, cleaned the stall briefly, turned on the fire, and started making fried noodles. Oil hissed as an egg cracked in. I scrambled it, scooped it out, poured fresh oil, tossed in onions, then added the noodles, eggs, and vegetables, stir-frying like I'd done 1,000 times. And I had. Every single meal I cooked these past years paid for my living and tuition. The night market wasn't some trendy hotspot. It stayed open thanks to nearby factories, electronics plants, and a construction site. In this chaotic scene, Willow stood in a white knee-length skirt, a rhinestone hair clip glinting in her black hair. Totally out of place. An auntie who just ordered a bowl recommended it. "You should get one too, girl. This young man makes the best rice noodles, clean and delish." Willow hesitated, then stepped forward. "George, I want a serving of fried noodles." Without looking up, I tapped the QR code. 6 yuan. She transferred me 100. I still made her a portion based on the 6 yuan standard. She poked at it with her chopsticks, looking displeased. "George, you didn't even give me an extra egg." I said, 6 yuan fried noodles don't come with an extra egg." She was speechless. At 11 p.m., I closed my stall. Willow hadn't gone home. Her noodles finished, disposable chopsticks in the trash, she sat by the roadside swatting mosquitoes, her pale legs covered in red bumps. I tossed her a bottle of medicated oil. "Stops the itching," I said simply. She looked pitiful. "It's so late, George, can you walk me home?" I paused. "Where do you live?" She gave an address, a high-end residential area, coincidentally on the way to my place. After washing my hands, I picked up my backpack, and we started walking. She quickly jumped up, dusted off her skirt, and followed closely. At her complex entrance, she called out, "George, thanks for walking me home." Under the moonlight, her brows curved gently, voice soft and sweet. "Does this mean we're friends now?" The night breeze swept away the lingering heat. The obedient, sympathetic rich girl looked at me, eyes full of expectation, gaze shimmering. A heart-stirring scene. I curled the corner of my lips. "Maybe." Joy bloomed in her eyes. "Ah, system, did you hear that?" I became friends with the male lead on day 1. Male leads in healing-type novels are easy to conquer. Just curl a finger, add a little sweetness, and boom, they come to you to... But George doesn't seem to like chatty, sunshine-type girls. Time to adjust my strategy. I nodded slightly. "See you tomorrow, Willow." A faint blush colored her cheeks. "See you tomorrow, George." On my way back, I got a friend request from Willow. I looked a few seconds and tapped accept. Added a note for her. Number 2. Chapter 3. The key slid halfway in the lock. The old security door creaked open. Inside, a tiny 15-square-meter room. Aside from the bathroom, space only for a single iron bed. A frail woman lay paralyzed, unable to care for herself. After lying there all day, the bedding was soaked through with her waste. Even with the window open that morning, the air was thick with stench. "Mom," I said softly, "why are you so unwilling to keep clean?" Terror flashed across her face. Her whole body couldn't move, only her eyes darted wildly, throat making hoarse, choking sounds. "Oh, I forgot," I sighed in disappointment. "Your system abandoned you. I can't hear your inner voice anymore." I lifted her onto a chair, replaced the old sheet with a fresh one, then fed her rice porridge and water. She devoured it like a starving dog. I wiped her mouth, carried her back to bed. The room was quiet. A single tungsten bulb swayed faintly. "Life like this must be miserable, right, Mom?" I said. "No dignity, nothing, needing others for everything. But don't worry, it'll all be over soon." I smiled. "Mom, today I met a new female lead. I have a feeling you're gonna die soon. Not conquered, fully dead. Just like my parents. Completely dead." Her eyes flew wide open, breathing rough. She let out 2 frantic cries. The face I once saw pretend kindness, fake gentleness, superiority, it was gone. Only fear remained. A wonderfully soothing fear. I admired it long enough, pulled a folding cot from the corner, opened it, and went to sleep. 3 days later, my adoptive mother Patricia died. I took a week off school for funeral arrangements. She had no relatives, only a few people came. Willow came too, eyes red, voice trembling, gently hugging me. "George, you have to stay strong. If your aunt were still alive, she wouldn't want to see you this sad." She had never met Patricia but acted like she'd lost someone close. I appreciated her performance and responded with a flat, indifferent, fake. Totally fake. Patricia would have gladly skinned me alive, torn me apart, and ground my bones to ash. After the funeral ended, on my way home, I scattered Patricia's ashes casually onto a patch of grass by the roadside. When I opened the door, the house finally lacked that foul, oppressive stench that clung to someone bedridden for years. Standing by the wide-open window, I inhaled the fresh air with a sense of intoxicated relief. Maybe it was because Patricia was dead that night. I had a dream I hadn't had in ages. I dreamed of my parents, dead for many years. Patricia wasn't my real mom. My biological mother? She was a conqueror. Sunshine-like, meant to heal the cold, troubled male lead and guide him toward the right path. That male lead was my dad. A man abused since childhood, suffering from severe bipolar disorder. My mother succeeded. She married him and gave birth to me. A happy family. When the system asked if she wanted to detach from the world, she hesitated, then refused. She told the system, "Back in my original world, I was an orphan. Being able to stay here with Luis and George makes me truly happy." Maybe it was because I inherited half her blood that I could hear her conversations with the system. But at 6 years old, I didn't get what they were talking about, so I ran to ask my dad, curious as hell. He exploded. Demanded to know if she planned to leave him, or if she'd approached him with some hidden motive from the start. He roared like a wild beast. "Have you ever truly loved me?" My mother cried, saying she did love him, but he couldn't hear a word. In his fury, he smashed everything in the house. After that, a thin iron chain appeared around my mother's ankle. My father was a devil by nature. For my mother's sake, he trimmed himself down, forced himself into the shape of a human being. But once he learned that the only love he believed in was built on a mission, he fully reverted to his true form. During the long confinement that followed, sorrow slowly settled between my mother's brows. She no longer liked to smile, no longer wanted to talk. The system asked, "Are you leaving now?" I was lying on my mother's lap, listening to her read a storybook. Her voice stopped abruptly. I looked up. Her once bright, vibrant cheeks had turned pale and dim, like a flower rotting. I said, "Mum, you should go." Tears fell from her eyes, one after another. She stroked my face, her voice weak but unwavering. "No." She was answering both the system and me. "George, I won't leave you with that devil." The system was silent for a moment, then said, "All right then. Goodbye, host. Luis's healing arc has long been completed. A new male lead has already formed. I'm going to bind with a new conqueror now." The system left, but my mother didn't care. A pair of bright flames lit up her eyes as she held me tight. "George, go steal Luis's keys. Mommy will take you away." I stole the keys, But I didn't escape with her. Dad found us. I still don't know how. I had been so careful. In a rage, he grabbed me by the collar and threw me into a room. The heavy door shut out all the evil and noise. At first, I cried and beat on the door with my hands. Eventually, I curled up beside the door and fell asleep. When I woke, I didn't see Mom. I saw the police. They said my father killed my mother and then himself. Such a strange sentence. I became an unwanted orphan, taken in by a kind neighbor who had just moved in. Her name was Patricia. At the very first glance, I heard a familiar voice. Great news, system. I finally managed to adopt the male lead. Good thing you told me to report it earlier. If the male lead had really been taken by his mother, my conquer plan would have failed instantly. Sigh, but since he's still so young, I'll have to use a familial route strategy to conquer him. How about a persona of a hard-working adoptive mother, running a street stall to support his schooling and staying unmarried for life? In that moment, looking at Patricia's fake motherly kindness, everything clicked. No wonder my mom and I got caught. No wonder Dad ended up killing her. So it was me. That so-called new male lead, it was me. Chapter 4. The system and the conqueror deliberately crafted a tragic childhood for me. All just to stuff me into a pitiful shell, one that needed to be saved, needed to be redeemed. A shell meant to help them complete their missions. After Patricia failed the adoptive mother route, the system abandoned her and chose Willow instead. The system knew my mother very well. That's why it dressed Willow in a white dress, clipped sparkling rhinestones in her hair, sprayed her with orange-scented perfume, and made her act like a lively, bright little sun. They intended to spark my interest naturally. But the more Willow resembled my mother, the more disgusted I felt. Back at school, I would always find warm breakfasts and snacks in my desk. The boy behind me said sourly, "The goddess treats you really well." I replied, "If I were you, I'd first worry about whether I can even get into college." He immediately shut up. Willow became a regular at my fried noodle stand. She'd always order fried noodles, sometimes with an egg, sometimes without. After eating, she'd sit under the dim streetlight, doing her homework. When I closed up, she'd beg me to walk her home. Days like this went on for a month. Then, one day at school, I suddenly heard her screaming at the system in her mind. "Not increased at all. You're saying my redemption value for George hasn't increased at all? How is that possible? I've brought him breakfast for a whole month. I've got mosquito scars everywhere. How could he not be touched at all?" The system responded, "I told you long ago, host. You need to adopt more intense methods." Willow asked, "Like what?" The system said, "Find someone to smash his stall. Hire a few school thugs to bully him. Then you show up and save him from disaster." Willow fell silent. "Don't you think that's shameless?" "I do not possess those emotions unique to humans. Based on calculations across multiple worlds, this method has the highest success rate," the system replied. I sneered and stopped listening. That night, Willow appeared at my stand as usual. No thugs. No trouble. Just her usual fried noodles. Then she walked up to me, took a deep breath, and asked, "George, can I hire you to tutor me every night? That way you won't have to work so hard selling fried noodles." I glanced at her. "Are you pitying me? Feeling heartache for me?" She gradually calmed down, voice steadier. "You study well. You're smart. Your energy should go to something meaningful, not just selling fried noodles here." I rinsed pots and dishes, never lifting my head. "Tutor you? That's not easier than selling fried noodles." Willow's face went red. My tone shifted, but I agreed. Moonlight fell on her rosy cheeks, faintly glowing. She wasn't exactly kind, but not as vicious as Patricia. I was willing to give her a chance. I tutored Willow for a semester. Her grades skyrocketed. Her dad handed me a generous red envelope, gratitude, but also a reminder. Our relationship was strictly professional. I accepted gladly. I needed money to buy materials for experiments I'd planned forever. In the second half of senior year, the school announced its guaranteed admission quota. It didn't go to me, it went to another girl, good but not me. Willow stood up for me indignantly. Why didn't they give it to you? You're clearly the top of the grade, by a huge margin. Willow, don't make trouble for me, I said. They didn't give it to me because I might become the top scorer in the national college exam. That's why the school tolerated so much from me. Willow sighed. Being the top scorer isn't easy. I know you're really smart, but can you really do it? Beth, what do you think? The system had already told her about my character setting, a genius boy, orphaned, working part-time, supporting himself, and caring for a paralyzed foster mother. After a moment, she said, if I didn't know you, I'd totally believe you could do it. But now, I can't help worrying. The system spoke. Healing value +1. Willow was shocked. She'd chased me relentlessly for nearly 2 years, and this was the first time she saw her numbers move. I lowered my eyes. Thank you, Willow. Thank you for seeing me as a person, not as a character, not as some cold, rigid persona. Chapter 5. After the college results came out, I unsurprisingly ranked first in the province. No parents, so the school threw a small celebration banquet for me. After it ended, Willow asked me to meet her at the beach. No stars tonight. The sea and night blended together silently across the shore. Amid the darkness, only Willow's body emitted a faint glow. She wore a starry night gown, layers of organza dotted with tiny crystals. Her hair curled in delicate waves, tied high with a black ribbon, a few strands framing her face, playful, charming. She confessed her feelings in the sea breeze. I rejected her. Why? She asked, forcing a smile. I replied, Willow, do you think an ant would ever fall in love with the one observing it? She said, what do you mean? I don't get it. I ignored her. Do you know why your WeChat nickname is saved as number 2 in my phone? Her face turned pale. Why? Number 1 is my foster mother, Patricia. You might have forgotten her name, even though you shed a few tears at her funeral. Willow had indeed forgotten. She'd never paid attention to Patricia, a completely paralyzed woman who only appeared occasionally, a prop highlighting my tragic background. But when she heard my next words, her blood ran cold, inch by inch. Before you showed up, she was also bound to the system as a conqueror, the heroine of this world. She was supposed to raise me through hardship, move me with love, and heal me. But she died. Willow whispered, taking a step back, trembling. How did she die? I answered gently. She died after you appeared. The system chose you and abandoned her. Willow pressed on, step by step. Then why did she suddenly become paralyzed? It wasn't sudden, I explained. She was getting old and must have developed high blood pressure. One day, while working the stall, she mistakenly took a pill that raised her blood pressure instead of lowering it, causing a cerebral hemorrhage. After they saved her, she was paralyzed from head to toe. After a long, heavy silence, I finally heard Willow's trembling voice. Did you do it? I bent down, letting my fingers glide through the cold seawater. The liquid slipped smoothly between them. I didn't answer. George, are you going to kill me? She asked again. I straightened up, wiped my damp hands on my clothes, and said coldly, I know you applied to a university in city. Willow, change your choice. Stay the hell away from me. Could all of you just back the fuck off? I never needed anyone to save me. I didn't want to become my father. And I didn't want to create another mother all over again. No matter what, the only one who can save me from disaster is me. I turned to leave. George! Willow shouted after me. But everything I've done for you is real. Didn't you even feel a little moved? She cried. What did I do wrong? I just wanted to go home. Then, what did I do wrong? I turned my head, fatigue dragging my voice as I said, I'm just an ant, one that can't fall in love with the one watching it. And seriously, do you really think I need saving by this kind of love? Chapter 6. Willow seemed to have given up on trying to conquer me completely. She changed her university application and went off to study in another city. As for me, I entered the physics department at Cydia University, completed a direct PhD, and stayed in the lab doing research after graduation. The next time I contacted Willow, I was 26. My team had just published a major paper at an international conference. I got off the plane, went home, crashed for a bit, planning to go out once I woke up. But when I opened my front door, a little girl stood there, looking up at me. Pale yellow dress, tiny baseball cap, and she called me, innocent and sweet, Daddy. Before I could process the absurdity, I heard a familiar, faintly cheeky voice. Wah, adorable baby daughter heals tragic male lead, rescues parents' love. System, do I look convincing as a child? Can you tell I'm actually 35? My eyes darkened. A corner of my mouth lifted slightly. I crouched down. Who's your mother? She blinked big, innocent eyes. Willow. Daddy, how can you forget Mommy? Oh, I remember now. This is the time when Daddy and Mommy aren't together yet. She clasped her hands behind her back, staring at me dead serious. Baby Willow had literally traveled back in time to save our marriage. After settling this bizarre little girl, I sat in my car and sent Willow a WeChat message. She hadn't blocked me. She called back immediately. I answered, and after 2 seconds she finally spoke, voice a little hoarse. George. My system disappeared. Will I die like Patricia? I didn't respond. I just lit a cigarette, letting the harsh taste scrape across my tongue. When I finished, I coughed quietly and asked, "Do you still want to go home?" Soft breathing came over the line. After a moment, she spoke clearly, firmly. Every single minute, every single second since I arrived, I've wanted to go home. I caught my reflection in the rearview mirror and smiled faintly. I flicked the cigarette butt out the window. All right, Willow. You'll get what you wish for. Chapter 7. Just as suddenly as she'd entered that world, 26-year-old Willow opened her eyes one day and found herself back in her original world. Even her body had returned to 17, like when she first crossed over. In a daze, she walked down the spiral staircase. In the living room, Daddy sipped tea. Mommy was curled on the sofa chatting on the phone with a face mask, the housekeeper dusting with a feather duster. Everything was familiar, yet foreign. Hearing footsteps, Willow's mother looked up, but her expression shifted immediately. Willow, what's wrong? Why are you crying? Who bullied you? Willow realized she was already crying, though she didn't know when she started. Mom, she sobbed. I had such a terrible, terrible nightmare. I don't remember. It's fine. Don't be afraid. Dreams are always the opposite of reality. Her mother hugged her, instructing the housekeeper to get pomelo leaves to wash away the unlucky aura for young Miss. Willow's life slipped back into normal. Even after 10 years away, returning felt natural. Had the other world been a dream? One day, while practicing piano, she heard the system's voice again. She jumped, striking a wrong note. Host, don't be afraid. I'm here to say goodbye. Willow hovered over the keys. What exactly happened that day? After you failed the conquest, I picked host number 3. But George, he was too smart. He developed a device that stripped me from number 3 and forcefully installed me into himself. Once inside him, the healing mission was completed. I asked him what reward he wanted, wealth or another world. Half his bloodline comes from conquerors. He could have gone to his mother's world. But he refused, and gave that chance to you. Willow whispered, so, he healed himself long ago. A tear fell on the keys. She remembered that night on the dark beach, the boy turning away, cold as ice, saying he didn't need saving. In the end, the only one who can save someone is themselves. Yes. But this violates protocol, so I'm about to be destroyed. Willow laughed mockingly. Are you scared? Not really. I wasn't installed with emotions. Being destroyed is just returning from ordered data to unordered data. I wanted to say goodbye. Goodbye, Willow. Willow froze. The system had never called her by name. Only one person had first and last name together. $6 fried noodles, no extra egg. See you tomorrow, Willow. Don't make trouble for me. Thanks, Willow. You'll get what you wish for. In the music room, Willow laughed and cried like an idiot. It was George. He had written this farewell into the system's code, delivering it to her ears in the final moment before the system was destroyed. In the end, they still had their proper goodbye.